Hello, Benjies. Welcome to Bingeworthy, part of the Geekish Network. We binge a show to let you know if you should. I'm your host, Rakai, Noob from the Ville, and I have the illustrious Randy and Chuck. Randy, say hello to the people.
Yo, what's going on, Benjis? Ready to hop into this with my guys.
All right, and we have one of the co-founder, but the big man on top, Mr. Chuck Babb. Say hello to the people, Chuck.
What's up, Benjis? We're back at you with another one. So what it do, Rakai? What it do?
Now, if you're an audience member, feel free to communicate with us. Y'all hear this is what I got to deal with. Today, we'll let you know if you should binge watch Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft on Netflix. Now, the series takes place after the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy of video games, which concluded with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And it fills the gaps in the timeline, bridging the reboot trilogy to the original series of the game. In this chapter, Laura mourns the death of her mentor and is brought back into the hunt as the antagonist steals from her family estate on his quest to rejoin the Creation Stones, which will cause a cataclysmic end to the Earth through chaos and destruction. And only Lara Croft can stop him. Now, we will rate the show at the beginning, and then our wonderful, the best technical producer in the land, Mr. Roddy Kajuto, will post our ratings. And while we're talking about the show during the course of the show, we're going to talk about it, and then we will rate the show again at the end just to see if anyone's had a change of heart. Mr. Rodney, can you post those ratings for us, sir?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 full meals and a mini meal. So let's see. So it's a high 3. So you round up to a 4, like 3.75, 3.8, something like that. So it rounds up to a full meal. Just real quick synopsis. Randy, why mini meal?
So I did not hate this project. I just didn't love it. I was entertained by it. I just didn't think there were enough elements for me to say this is definitively a full meal, and it definitely wasn't a snack. I would have liked to see, I don't know, it's better character development, better interaction. I did like the action in it. It just didn't have the wow factor that I was looking for to let it be into that full meal category. And definitely not binge worthy, but just missing the wow factor that made me really want to turn into it.
Okay. Chuck, you rated a full. What was that about?
I gave it a full meal because I played the first 2 video games in this recent trilogy. I didn't know exactly where this series took place in the timeline, if it was even in the timeline, but I knew these characters already. I was very familiar with the characters they had here. And when I watched it, it made me think of the characters. Uh I thought it was on par with anything else Tomb Raider. I do have my issues with it because I know the creator of Tomb Raider, and they showed the same issues. And they did take a lot of tropes from the most recent trilogy of video games and put them into here for animation. Like, we'll talk about that later, but yeah, they did do that. So I thought it was
Okay.
worthy of a full meal. I would have loved for it to have been a binge out, but like Randy said, it didn't have that spectacle that I was looking for, especially coming out the Twilight of the Gods. It didn't have the same level of spectacle.
Mm-hmm. I actually agree with both of you. I gave it a full meal. And even though I found it to be solid and a little bit more solid than middle of the road, which is a mini meal. It does have its issue. And when I was after I watched it, when I was looking online, the amount of hate that came out for this series, the ratings fell off the cliff for the series. But I found it interesting that it's not like I read all the reviews, but most of the reviews that I saw that I read through, their hate was really about one thing in particular. which was the design of how Laura Croft looked, her body dimensions, much like some people said about Rogue in X-Men 97 that she was missing something.
Oh,
Yeah. So people said, the TNA that we used to get from Laura Croft was gone, and they thought that this show was not worthy because I don't know, they couldn't watch for a different reason than what we were watching for, I suppose. I thought it was solid. I thought it did have its problems. And since it was made by Crystal Dynamics, who produced the 3 video games, the reboot trilogy, this series is canon, and it falls in between the reboot trilogies and the original games. So that's where it falls in the timeline. Gentlemen, how well does this show balance plot, character development, and world building for you? And I'm going to start with you, Chuck, since you have a lot of knowledge and backstory about the Tomb Raider series.
The balance of plot was good. It gave me an adventure like the video game. This is what we're going after. They didn't make any MacGuffins about it. They're like, this is it. This is what we're chasing. This is why. This is where Lara is right now. And these are the characters. And I think it did a good job introducing the characters. It doesn't explain who the characters are to Lara. They give you some flashback scenes, but I have to understand if Randy's never played the video games, how he would feel about that. For me, I have more of an understanding because I played the video games and you know who these characters are and what she's been through with these characters. World building, there's not much to world build on. It's Lara Croft, it's Indiana Jones. Like Indiana Jones doesn't give us a lot of world building. It says this is the world, throw him in it and let the adventure happen. But I think that's it. I think they could have done more world building, more character plot to explain people. You have a good sense of who Jonah is and how loyal Jonah is to Lara. But for those that play the video games, we already know that.
Okay. Randy, same question. What do you think, sir?
For me, I thought the interactions between the characters were strong. You could tell there was a loyalty there. You could tell they cared about this character. And I actually liked that they didn't give us a lot of backstory. I just don't like lots of backstories. I like for the story that I have to show me what's going on with always having to tread backwards because it can cause an interruption to the story. What I thought, me personally, what the character development, and it even impacted the plot, where it struggled a little bit was the villain for me. I thought we needed a better quality villain. I thought we needed to do one or two things. Either it be a villain that I can't stand and I want to see him get his comeuppance, or he's a really cool villain that I'm like, yeah, he's a villain, but I like who he is. And I think our hero can only rise to the level of our villain. And I didn't see it being as strong. So that was one of the reasons that attributed to my rating. I didn't think there was a villain in there enough to push the plot along fast enough and really give us a character and somebody to cheer against for and to cheer for on the hero side. So that was kind of how I saw the balance between the character development and the plot.
Excellent comments, both you guys. I thought the same. I thought the plot was extremely balanced. Like, they presented us with what the quest was, and we went right on the quest. They did a little bit in episode 1 to show where she was mentally. What I liked about this particular series is it fleshed out Laura Croft a little bit more, where the older movies kind of made her almost a sex symbol.